Hello there. This is going to be my review for Ahsoka Episode 2. So we first get revealed in the episode that the map from the first episode is a map between two galaxies, which I think is quite crazy because we've never seen anything to do with another galaxy in Star Wars before. So this could be something potentially really great or really dangerous to introduce. Just the same as time travel, in Star Wars Rebels with the world between worlds. So it could be done really well. It could be done really, really well. We'll see where it goes. So I'll give it a chance. What I really don't like about this episode is how bitchy Ahsoka seems to be, like towards Sabine. Like her characterization just seems a little bit off. Like, in the way that she gives Sabine a lot of shit. When she says, "You've done enough," like, that doesn't really seem like Ahsoka to me. But, like, that's the only problem I have with it so far. Otherwise, she seems really calm and collected and really mature and very consistent to the character we've all come to know. But other than that, like, it seemed really out of character for her to, be quite aggy at Sabine. But I guess we're past it now. They've made up, so it's fine. One thing I noticed in my second viewing for this episode, I didn't notice in my first viewing, was when Baylan Skoll is by I think it's the anchor point for the map. He sees the Purrgil in the clouds. You can see and hear the Purrgil. I didn't actually notice that the first time, so I thought that was quite interesting in my second viewing. So Ahsoka goes back to the radio tower where Sabine lost the map and was confronted by Shin, and it turns out there's still a droid in there. But what is most interesting about that scene is that she appears to be using some kind of like passive psychometry on the area. She can sense the memories of like all the living beings that had been there before. So it's the same ability that Cal Kestis and Quinlan Vos have in Jedi Survivor and Star Wars: The Clone Wars and in the novel Dark Disciple, which I thought was quite cool. So we get back to the ship and everyone's speaking and all that jazz. Hoyang is just being amazing as ever. I do really love Hoyang. He is probably one of the greatest characters in this show. He's just a great bit of levity. He's very wise and he's like I said in the last video, he's got that dry humor that I very much enjoy. So yeah. So then we get to back to the villains and they're discussing their plans, and they mention the Eye of Sion, which is an interesting little Easter egg for the Sith Lord called Darth Sion. What I really like about this scene is that Baylan Skoll really gives off the vibe that he's not really a dark sider. I wouldn't even call him a dark Jedi. I'd just call him a slightly self-serving Jedi, maybe a fallen Jedi, but he's not necessarily dark, because he does seem like he still holds some like Jedi values and behavioral traits, if that makes any kind of sense at all. What I really like as well is Hera's characterization in this series in general. There's the scene where she's giving Sabine a pep talk, and is very in line with the character we know from Rebels, and yeah, I think she's been very well adapted to this series in live action. I like the conversation Hoyang and Sabine have about lightsabers, even though, well, it just seemed like Disney is trying to weigh in on the Rey's lightsaber controversy. That was a massive point of discussion a few years ago when Disney decided to advertise Anakin's lightsaber as Rey's. So now they're touching on that, and it seems like they're trying to put in their own opinion on whose lightsaber is whose and what makes someone's lightsaber theirs. And it kind of does seem in your face. Like both times I watched it, it immediately made me think of that controversy, and I was like, okay, I see what you're doing, Disney. Okay. Again, Ahsoka and Hera goes to Corellia, which is where the Republic are now building their ships. And what I really like about this scene where they're interrogating the workers there and the manager is Hera's being very, like kind of like sassy, and it's like she's very intelligent. Obviously they're there about ships, and she's and she knows a lot about ships, and I really like that they were able to lean on her in this scene, because it really made everything just fall into place perfectly. Everything goes to shit like it usually does. Marok appears. Marok. He's still the good silent badass. He has a very good scene with very good duel with Ahsoka, and they go toe to toe. And of course, he has to retreat in the end. He did give her a run for his money, and I really did like that, because it doesn't just seem like, in Rebels when like Ahsoka could just destroy any Inquisitor. Like, they weren't much of a threat. Like I said, he's the silent type. All the rest of the Inquisitors are quite overly talkative, quite arrogant. He takes his job very seriously, and you can tell. And he's not letting his own arrogance get in the way. And I think that's what makes him able to keep up with her in a way. He's focused. Yeah, I really like it. So, the lightsaber duel was great. I really enjoyed it. It was very fast-paced. Marok did really well against Ahsoka, and it left off, it made me want more. So, amazing job to everyone involved. One thing I don't really like is that, after Rebels, everyone got on the hype train about this whole Ahsoka the White thing, where at the end she was wearing the white cloak and she had the staff. I really liked it, I really liked it, and I was looking forward to see if they would do that in this show. And they kind of just wrote that out of there. Like, they just kind of retconned it into being grey robes and there's no staff. And I gotta say, I'm a bit disappointed in that regard. But whatever. It's no point crying over spilled milk. You know what I mean? So that's it really. So then we see the Eye of Sion. And it seems to be a giant hyperspace ring. Now, I've seen a couple of theories on the internet thinking it's some kind of time-space portal that's been built, but I don't really see it being that. Why would it need hyperdrives if it was just a portal? No, I think it's just a giant hyperspace ring that's meant to take a ship into hyperspace, at a much faster speed than past light speed. Because if you see the map, they see the route that they're trying to travel down, it's from one galaxy to another on a very, very long path. If you think that you have to travel through hyperspace to get from one planet to another within the galaxy, and it takes a certain amount of time, then it has to take a lot of energy. You have to have quite a bit of speed on your back to get to that point. So, yeah, I think it's just a hyperspace ring. So, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. Action-packed, characters were developed more, built on everything in the first episode. Everything I loved about the first episode is highlighted here. So, if you want to see what I thought about the first episode, go watch my first video. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm looking forward to the third episode next week. So, I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.